What up, man? Y'all saw me grooving because y'all already know what time it is. You heard the theme song. You see the clock. It's 3:30. No Cap Youth Chat right here. This your boy Pastor D checking in. And the last couple of weeks, we have just been getting wrecked. We've been getting educated. These girls done whip me up into shape. They done made sure that as a father to a daughter, they making sure I'm dressed right, even when we talk about boys. Anyway, let this week y'all ask for it. Y'all send us messages. The dads that were on the line, y'all wanted more questions answered, and we're gonna get them today from some of the super dope, amazing, beautiful, intelligent hashtag Black Girls Magic, hashtag Black Queens Magic, whatever you want to do, whatever hashtag you want to use. I got some of the dopest ladies coming through today to give us answers to the questions as fathers, from a daughter, from a young lady growing into a woman, getting ready to go off on their own. And some of y'all knuckleheads that's watching the show, yeah, I've been peeping. I see y'all back there. All y'all boys out there, y'all better be taking those too, because they dropping bombs. They dropping bombs. And I'm talking about taking notes on how to be better young men. Don't be getting on here trying to take notes on how to manipulate and try to finesse these ladies, because they reading right through y'all. Y'all don't understand, especially the ones I got on today. So look, without further ado, I got my girl Jada. Y'all know that's that one right there, boy. She vicious right there. I got my girl Liana. You know, that's my intellectual. That's my leader. That's that. She like future president. Jada, she my lawyer. I got future president. Then I got Jakai, who hit us with the soul answers, them spiritual answers, liberating, making sure you feel liberated, making sure she's treated like a queen. Like, I got my soul sister on the line today. Ladies, what's happening? Welcome back to the show for part 3 of Black Girls Magic. The people have asked, and they are here. This week, we ain't got to talk about boys, so don't nobody bring them up. I think we've answered all them questions. There was a very hard question that I think I need to ask. I'll think about it because I really don't want to know the answer, but I need to know so I could be a better father. So today I got some more questions from dads, from parents now in general, that want to know how we can help be better for you, how we can better understand you, how we can better push y'all to be like the amazing young ladies that you are. Jada, future lawyer, already know the school, the master's school, all of the doctor program. You just 10 years down the road. Liana, who got the just the you can be the next or the first. I ain't gonna even say the next. You can be the first president, Black female president, governor, senator on the line, just real driven. And then Jakai, you surprised me last week. Jakai usually she real quiet, real chill. But last week she jumped on here talking about, first off, Black Girl Magic. You need to make sure we feel liberated. You need to make sure and I'm just like, who is she? So you surprised me. I'm so happy to have y'all back on the show, ready to jump into these questions from these fathers. Specifically for y'all, man, we've been taking notes, been making shifts so that we can be better fathers for the next generation of women, young ladies. So let me start with this question right here. Fathers say your heart is more beautiful than your appearance. So, and this is what they talked about. They said as fathers, we need to not only tell our daughters, make sure y'all hear it millions of times, remind y'all millions of times that what's on the inside of you is way more important and will get you along life further than what you physically look like, right? And so fathers basically said, ask you all, how do we help create, shape, and mold your character, remind you of your self-worth, remind you of just the core of who you are as a dad, so that you don't focus like we see on social media. You see a lot of girls making changes to their appearance, their outfits, If some of these females, they got money, or they finesse the right dude, they getting whole new faces, lips, ears, toes, just changing eye colors, just really wrecking all of that. And a lot of the fathers say it's because a lot of those females have lost the core of who they are. They don't know who they are. Their self worth, their character is gone. So I would love to hear you guys speak to that. Why you feel it's important for us, as not just dads, but as parents, just to constantly make sure that we remind you of how beautiful you are, not just on the outside, but the inside, and how we can help shape your character and stuff like that. So let me start with Jakai. Like, what do you think about that question, and then what can we do to kind of help that and be that reminder for you all the time?
Well, starting in like our teenage years, we get really insecure. So we need to look up to those celebrities who have the straight hair, who have the long nails, who have different face shapes, different eyes, noses, whatever. And we look up to that in a job field. Our hair is different, so they don't want to hire us. Our skin color is different, they don't want to hire us.
Ooh,
Everything about the common black lady is different from those people who are higher in the industry. So that I believe
right.
that our parents and our dads need to make us feel like we are better than those people. We are good enough the way we are.
I got you. So why do you think, and it's not just females, this is just people in general. Why do you think people like start slowly losing the core of who they are and making changes like that? Like I've
So
heard, and I know there are people who are insecure. Go ahead, Leon. Like I really want to know for y'all, for your age group, you know, what are we missing?
I feel like social media plays a big part of it, and I think I noticed that maybe around 10th grade that it a lot of people don't just wake up and be like, "Oh, I want to change this, I want to change this." They look at social media and that the attention that some people may get off of social media from being that way. And I guess I really started to pay attention to it because I'm a mass communications major, so I'm going to be on
Mm-hmm.
TV one day. I was like, I don't want to get on TV and people not recognize me or who I am, and I want to be true to myself. I'm going to get on there with my
Yeah.
natural hair. I'm going to get on there with my natural looks and be that way. And because of that, my upbringing and my family tell me that I'm a beautiful black woman. That plays a part in the way that I am today and how I will foresee myself when I do get on television.
Yeah. Yeah. Dang. Dang. So with you staying true to you, um, and I've seen a couple of female celebrities who are definitely they've often promoted that, like Issa Rae. She's always really pushed and pumped that naturalness. Viola Davis's, Kerry Washington's, like a lot of those African American females are very quick to make sure that they remind all minority females or females in general, but especially the African American females, your natural hair, your natural lips, your natural, look, all of that is amazing. And don't feel like you have to shift into an image that honestly we've all recognized as temporary, because every generation, new clothes, there's new looks, there's new everything. But making sure that they stay true to themselves. Jada, I'm scared of your answer, but I know you finna come with that heat. So when it comes to a topic like this, because I know you be on point. You come in, you on. I ain't never seen you walking to church or any anything event that we had. I ain't never seen you come in no house shoes. I ain't never seen you come, have anything, right? So for you, why do you think this is important for us as parents, as fathers, to make sure that we remind you all just how beautiful y'all are naturally, uh, and flaws and all. I know we talked about that on the last show, but why is that important?
I would say just be the like both mom and dad, not just dads as well, just embrace their
Yeah.
natural stuff. Like even with their hair, like you can have the thickest hair, but learn helping them do it instead of saying, "Oh, your hair is nappy." Like helping them maintain it, that goes a long way. Like don't bash them for having the type hair they have, but more like embrace it. Like instead of changing for the world because you're scared to be that one person with that hair, why not be that one person and you have the best hair? Like instead of trying to get your lips smaller and get this body, why can't you be that person that's successful with this hair and this body? Like, I want to be a lawyer and I
Mm.
want to go to corporate America, but I want to
Yeah.
also have my natural hair. So like, I've always been told, oh, you can't have this hairstyle because corporate America. But why can't I show them that I could be successful with this hairstyle in corporate America while being a lawyer, while maintaining? So I think trying to say,
Mm.
oh, like trying to bash it to where you're not successful, show them that you can be that one, that successful person with this difference.
All right now. See, y'all. See, y'all saw how it was about to come up out of Jada for a second there. Then she brought it back in. First off, how you gonna tell me I can't have my natural hair? I'm gonna beat y'all anyway. And then she kind of toned it back down again. No, I feel you. So ultimately not only respecting your uniqueness, but making sure we're constantly affirming that uniqueness about you so that the older you get, you've already pretty much labored in that and sat in that, and it's just really of course it's a part of your DNA, but mentally for you aren't ashamed of how you look. Like even when you said the hair piece, I told my wife if I ever have a daughter, I'm going to try to do her hair. Now I did it one day and the part was supposed to be right here, and what I thought I did, but the part was like over here and it kind of went, but I did that thing. But I couldn't let her go out to daycare. But for me as a dad, I tried, but it was, don't laugh at me. But it was just one of those things where I wanted to make sure that I guess I was a part of that, even though I sucked very bad. But like if mommy ain't here, daddy gonna make sure. Now I've learned now how to part it right and try to make sure it's even and balanced and straight and all that. And I can't do no designs like my wife be doing, but I can't do braids neither. But just being a part of that process, um, even as a reminder, of just how beautiful you are, being there, spending that time with her, those memories like y'all talked about last week. Y'all hit that on the head. So I love that about you. So here's one of the questions a dad asked, which was around forgiveness. And he scenario wise, it was heavy because he was like, of course, I'm not the perfect dad. And I know my daughter's going to make mistakes like y'all have talked about the last couple of weeks and you guys learning from those mistakes. But when it comes as a mistake from a father to a daughter, in this particular situation, the dad was like, I know I'm not perfect, but there was an instance where my daughter was telling me the truth and I kind of blew a gasket where because of the situation, it was around a boy and the daughter wasn't home in time. And immediately the dad assumed she was out with this negative boy who was a bad guy for her because daddy knows and sees all that y'all fellas that's watching the show. We see. We know all the tricks. Let me put a pause in it. We know all the tricks. We know all the game. We know. And I said that we're going to talk about boys, but I just think y'all need to hear this. As dads, we know. We see it. You can't, listen, the game ain't changed. The finesse ain't changed. Let me get back to my question. But anyway, dad blew a gasket. The daughter told the truth. And the dad hesitated on apologizing. And he missed the moment of, I guess, correcting the situation. And so he said he should have did it at a certain time, but he didn't. He kind of let time heal the wound. But he wound up, when I think him and his daughter were talking, she wound up bringing that moment up and how vital it was for her because it showed her that if the person that I look up to, that I love as my dad, he can't come apologize when he makes mistakes. Why should I? Even with where she was at futuristically, that this dad talked about an incident that happened when she was a teenager, and how it literally, that one moment, haunted her even when she got married. And so when they came together, and she brought it back up, she said that was a major piece, and that's something that he put out for fathers with daughters, is making sure that you apologize, even if it's simple or if it's major, and making sure that forgiveness piece is a part of the relationship. So I definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts on that, and your advice around that situation as far as apologizing and forgiving, especially in this particular incident. This is something that I want to say haunted this young lady for years, um, just from that one incident. So definitely would love to hear what that forgiveness means to you guys, from us to you, why it's important, and any thoughts that you have around it.
Well, I think that a lot of the time, men, whether teenage or grown, married, single, I feel like they come off a lot more aggressive than women do. So when we do things, it can be out of emotion, it can be purposely done, it can be accidental, but in the event where it needs to be addressed or apology needs to be placed, I think that there should be a level of equal level of emotion, to where the daughter doesn't feel like the dad did something that can haunt her, or
Mhm.
daughter doesn't the dad doesn't feel like the daughter did something to affect their relationship.
Okay. Damn. Dang. What about you, Jada?
I would say that at least they had their. I mean, you should try to build the relationship to where they can come to you, because I know coming to her dad, that's probably like a big step for her. And then because y'all fell off of that probably really scarred her, because, oh, I felt like I can trust you, and now I did trust you, and I told you what happened, and now we're not cool anymore. So I mean,
Dang.
she should be able to come to you without getting any lashback or judgment. Like, okay, I know I was wrong, and you as a dad, you could have reacted as a different way towards a female, or your daughter at least.
Yeah.
And that should just be that. You understand, and then now all your emotions are intact.
Try to be civilized today. Look at you, trying to be all civilized and sweet. I'm gonna get to one of these questions that's just gonna have your neck working in a minute. What about you, Liana? What is your thoughts on that piece, with emotions? And I respect that, Jada, and Jakai, because there was a moment where I messed up. I've talked about it with my son, but even my daughter, where I know she's 2. For me, I'm like, she ain't even gonna remember it, but making sure that if I do make a mistake or I do yell, or she's right or whatever, I've started making sure that I apologize to her. But to hear that, and even from this dad, that it's huge when it comes to y'all's emotions and all of that, man. I just need to make sure I keep it up. I be feeling all extra soft after I do it. Like, yeah, I be feeling real marshmallowy. But at the end of it, to see her, she'll hit me with, "It's okay, Daddy. I still love you." And then
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, okay. So what are your thoughts on it, Liana?
I was actually gonna like bring that up because I feel like when you start them off, like, because they'll have to know that lesson going off to life. Like, if you do something wrong, you gotta apologize to somebody, because that's how you
Yeah.
know. Or just tell your side of the story, tell the truth. So I don't think he should have probably jumped down her back when he came in. Like, when she came in, he probably should have been like, asking questions, where are you at? So don't immediately do that, but just building that trust. Just start that off when they're younger, so then when they can get older, just ask questions before you jump the gun.
All right, now y'all heard that, dads. You better ask some questions, because I mean, we already can't take when y'all start crying anyway. But at the same time, I know it sucked for him, because it sucked for me if my daughter turn her head and don't want to talk to me, I just be all torn to pieces. So one dad wrote, a couple and a couple of dads agreed to this, and this goes right into my alley right here. You know, making sure that your daughters know, or help them understand that the world has all its crazy, it has its dangers and all of that. But one thing they say, as dads, we of course we gonna be always very protective, but sometimes we've gotta dial that down a little bit, because if we're overprotective of y'all, it goes into what Jada said. Y'all don't trust us. Now that confuses me. If we're overprotective, that kind of starts to push out that trust piece for y'all. So I want to know about that. Like, if it's one thing to be protective of my daughter, but if I'm too or overprotective, it hits the trust thing with us. What do y'all think that meant from that father or those fathers?
Okay. Okay. Now here's an example, because I'm thinking about it from being like an 18-year-old. But this is from somebody else's experience, like my cousins. All right. If you're too overprotective of your child, you're like that from age 1 all the way to 18. When they go to
Mm-hmm.
college and they've been overprotected, they had a shield, they are going to be buck wild because they've had no sense of freedom and stuff. So like we said, creating that boundary that, oh, you can do little things. But okay, I don't want you to cry, because it's little things. It's like, I would say probably going out with her friends to like a basketball game, something like that, like on a Saturday
Okay.
night. If you're too overprotective, that's going to cause them to be a whole different person when they get to be an adult and
Okay.
have that freedom. So setting those boundaries during this time, that would be a great thing to do.
Mm. Now, I know ain't none of y'all ever snuck out the house and nothing like that. Parents told you couldn't go to parties and nothing like that. So I ain't even gonna look at the screen right now, because I know y'all just perfect. Y'all some angels. But when it comes that's interesting, because okay, how I grew up when it came to like in high school, remembering how much that meant when your friends would invite you to parties, or they would throw parties at their cribs or whatnot. And I know as parents, we have that protective state, because we want, if you look at today's world, it's really scary, because you want to give your children freedom, but you're afraid because you can't control all the other outliers, right? So we ask those questions like, all right, who gonna be there? Who house is it? Wow, Jada artist smiling.
My mom in the background. She agreeing with you.
Yeah,
My mom.
it's, it's the protective nature. If you've seen, like, the best way I can compare it is, if you like, okay, we've been watching, my kids for some reason have gravitated to watching these animal shows. And one of them was with lions, one of them was with wolves. And then we saw one even with whales, y'all, where the mother, it's the protective state of us as parents. But as much as we know we have to give you freedom and let you fly, it's like we also got to make sure the scene is as safe as can be, even though we know we can't protect you from everything. But like, even with this question, being too overprotective, it's gonna cause y'all to go buck wild. So, what is the happy medium in this as parents to y'all? Like, my son or my daughter asked me 10th grade, hey, I want to go to this party. And as a parent, I'm going to ask all the safety questions, give you a curfew. I might even give you a check-in time, because we want to make sure as parents, we don't ever want to get that phone call like late at night. And we also don't ever want to wake up and you're not there. And me as a dad, it's one thing with my son, but once again, it's completely different with my daughter. You know what I mean? And I love them equally. Don't get me wrong. It's the same way with the roles being flipped. Like, the way my daughter responds and my wife responds and talks to my daughter, completely different than how she does with my sons. Like, and it is, and we're equal with it, but you can feel the difference, right? So like, what do we do? Like, how much freedom do we give y'all? Like,
Put
and
put yourself in a position where you wouldn't have to add. Put yourself in a position where you wouldn't have to ask those questions. And I'm saying that because if I go to my
oh,
mom and ask her, "Oh, can I go out here? Go out here?" She knows that if I'm asking, I know whose mama gonna be there, who daddy gonna be there, all the people that are gonna be there, X, Y, and Z. For example, earlier this year there was a sleepover, there was a party or something, but people were going out before to go drink and smoke and things like that.
wow.
Not downplaying that there's nothing wrong with that. They were going to do that before the sleepover, and we were at a restaurant before that. I said, "Look, I'll go back home and chill for a minute. Y'all tell me when y'all done and y'all about to go back to her mom's
Gotcha.
house for the sleepover part because I'm not about to get involved in any of those activities." So, with that saying, in the way that you raise your child, if you know they're about to come up to you and ask you them questions, if you know that you raise them right, they will already have thought of this stuff.
Mm. So trusting the process of how we raised you, as well as trusting that because we raised you, you're gonna do the right thing. And I
Yeah.
think as parents, especially, I think every parent, like I said, I know we're not perfect, but I know as we're raising you up, I believe we trust that. Now, me being who I was in high school, my mama definitely ain't trust me going to certain places because, I just messed up a lot. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna front, I snuck out a few times. When I say I was at work, I wasn't at work. Yeah, I know. So I know why that part. Don't y'all judge me. I know, I know, I know that part, right? But just from basically what you're saying, make like trusting that we raised y'all the right way, trusting that when you hear certain things, hey, they're gonna be drinking and all that. And I think every parent does that. We trust that y'all are gonna make the right decisions. It just really hurts us when if something like that happened and we find out that you participated in that or whatever. One, we glad that you safe, but it's gonna hurt. It hurts us to our core, where it's like, I know I raised you better than that. I know, I raised you to lead and not follow, and so forth and so on. So basically, what I've gathered from how y'all have answered is, especially with my 2-year-old, raising her up, making sure that I know Jakai hit it on. She went scripture on it. Make sure we're training her up so that whatever way that we are training her up, she won't depart from those morals, from those standards, those principles, and stuff like that. But then not just that, trusting everything that we've done and letting y'all fly. Now I can take the mistakes. I think I can take, hey, I made a mistake and I did try alcohol and I hated it. And having that conversation, like y'all have talked these last couple of weeks, listening to y'all, hearing it all out instead of me just blah 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 blah, 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 then take your car keys, which I'm probably gonna take car keys anyway. But but like everything, just hearing y'all this week 3, part 3, everything's coming full circle with all that we've talked about and how everything works like a puzzle. Everything connects holistically. So now, I said I wasn't gonna ask this question, but I gotta ask it. So now I've let you fly and be free. And we've talked about boys and all of that. So one of the dads, well, I ain't even gonna say one, on this poll of 30 fathers, 28 out of the 30 answered. And they asked, when it's time to have certain conversations. Said I was gonna ask it, but it just flowed into it. I know how to have conversation from father to son. I've never thought about having a conversation from father to daughter. So, what some dads have said in this is, don't be afraid to have the necessary and important conversations. Don't run from them. Don't, and they said in bold letters, don't leave these conversations to mom only. But when it comes to some serious conversations, not about boys, but now some of these guys, their daughters are in their 13, 14, 15, 16. Not only do they like boys, but they see the stuff on social media, the peer pressure that you guys get in school, where you have some of what for us it was locker room talk, where some of the guys they get in there, say all the stuff, who they done dated. It went from kissing to then it went to touching, then it went to actual sex and all of that crazy stuff. Locker rooms as teenagers, knowing that time's coming, how do fathers in this, what they want to know is, how do we have the conversation with y'all as daughters, one? And what do we talk about? Now we don't need details. But you being daughters, you guys, well, Jakai's almost through high school. Leon and Jada, y'all are out of high school. Y'all have seen girls who have gotten pregnant in high school. I've been in schools and working with students. I've seen girls get pregnant in middle school. So I know it's a conversation that needs to be had. And I know I've met parents and talked to parents who, it's not that they don't want to have the conversation, but they kind of preset a date, and some parents just, they wait until either they find something in the room or their kids come and say, hey, I did this. So I want to know about that from y'all. I don't want no details. I don't want to know how fine he got to be. I don't want to know none of that. I just want to know and be ready to have that conversation, with my daughter. Like with my son, I've already, when he came, I already knew the conversation. But I ain't thought about it. I ain't thought about it until I saw the poll from the dads. I was like, dang, I gotta add that to her too. Cause all I'm gonna say is, you just gonna be a nun, and we're gonna put you in nun school. So, how do we, besides being confident, like when do you, I don't even want to know like when do we talk about it? Because it seems that the generations now, it's getting earlier and earlier. I went into an elementary school where you got sixth graders who are talking about it, right? And you've had some who have been exposed to it, right? So I know as the generations are coming, and when I say exposed, if you got a social media account, it's over. You're going to get exposed to everything the world has to offer. In my generation, they used to blame it on, because that's when the internet really started booming. That's when, I think our first social media page was Black Planet. But the internet, yeah, I know, man. Y'all don't know about Black Planet? Everybody out there know. Y'all, people my age, you know what I'm saying? We the starters of this social media thing. But anyway, dang, I'm old. Anyway, but like in my generation, my mom and them were blaming on the internet, like, because now we've got access. We type in Google, or we type in that search bar, you just put a word, everything pops up, right? And so now the newer generations are not just pre-exposed, but they're exposed even more. We've seen now from like sexuality to transformation. It's so much freedoms, all that. But with this particular topic, like how, I don't even want to ask this question. How do we have that conversation? How important is it to y'all? Woo.
I would say build.
No,
I would say build. I I would say build that trust with your daughter to where she can come and talk to you, because a lot of kids that I know, especially my age, they've been exposed to it like the wrong way at a young age. So you
Yeah.
want to let her know that, oh, it's, if somebody do this to you, you let me know. If they, they come touch you in a way that they can let you know, so you build that trust with them.
We done had them conversations. Yeah, no.
No, yeah,
We
like
don't
if
even
somebody,
think about it.
if somebody like in a certain place, you let them
Yeah.
know at a young age, this is not, they don't,
Yeah.
that person touched you in a certain place.
Yeah.
Let me know. Like build that trust to where they can come to you, especially at a young age when something happens. Because if something happens when they're older, they know, oh, I can come to my dad or my parent. That's
Yep. And y'all have definitely talked about that communication. Like everything keeps coming full circle. Being open, let y'all say it on, I know in the first show and reiterated last show, having that relationship where y'all can talk to us about anything, knowing that we not just gonna blow up, jump down your throat, turn away, run from it. But like when you're talking about like the sex question, right? Like some of the dads wrote, I've went to my daughter to try to start the conversation, but she'll cut it off and reject me. So do I keep going? Do I come back a day or two later? Because basically what I gather from what they were saying is if a dad comes to his daughter and say, hey, come sit down, I want to talk to you about this. I think you get ready to go to middle school, high school. There are going to be conversations in the locker rooms, in the little cafeteria, girl groups, all of that stuff. I want to be able to have the conversation with you, not for you to get started in it, but to at least have that relationship, that openness, like you said, to be here to talk with you through it, blah blah blah. But then because I guess it's a weird conversation coming from dad, it's like, no, dad, I don't want to talk about it, and then she just leaves. You know what I mean? So do we keep pressing? Like, what should we do as parents to, like, when you initially reject it? Because it's gonna be weird. That's like Pastor D coming to y'all saying, okay, everybody, let's have a conversation. Y'all be like, Pastor D, first off, that is wrong. Second off, you ain't my mama or my daddy. So I ain't having none of them conversations. And no, I have not had those conversations. But you got to say that stuff nowadays because people start taking stuff out of context and all that crazy. But with y'all, if y'all reject us, do we keep going? Do we keep, like, how should we even approach?
I wouldn't say keep going. I was like, because in our generation right now, you can get exposed to stuff so youngly or at any time because of the internet and stuff. If as long as you let them know, I can't say like what age because I don't know how like everybody raised their kid or whatever, but just let them know the basics because they're going to get exposed to it one way or another. So let them know like, hey, I don't say I think we should have that talk. Just like I want to let you know that if you decide. I want to let you know that if you decide to do this at a young age, even though I agree you should not do it, you should wait.
I don't even like that
just
approach.
I don't even set up a conversation like that.
I mean, not like
I
that.
feel you. I get what you're saying, Jody.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like, just let them know the basics. If you decide to do this,
Yeah.
just know that you should use this, and if something goes wrong or something happened, that you can come to me. And then like in high school or maybe older, they're gonna already know because like it's not rocket science. Like they're gonna already know like
I agree. I agree.
So, you talk to them. Talk to them again. Like, hey, are you okay? Is everything? You just ask them, how are you? Are you good or something? And then they'll come to you because like, So just
I agree with
don't
you.
make.
Like,
it's gonna be awkward all the time, but
it depends on the individual.
I know y'all know. I think y'all know, but y'all don't know to the degree of, like, y'all know the activity, y'all hear like the feelings from the activity, but like the serious stuff, like the STDs, the HIVs, the pregnancy piece, like the big pieces that come with it. I think is y'all know it, but it's like y'all got that Superman mentality where, oh, it ain't gonna happen to me. I'm immune to it. You know what I mean?
No,
So it just
what? Because well,
tell me.
some now some people do need to have the conversation because they do think that way. Oh, I'm invincible, but it depends on the type of person. Because me, I feel like I'm an open individual, so I'm open to like conversation. Because like if like you came to me and you want to have the conversation, obviously you're a man. You've been through some things. You've been through high school, college, and all that. So you're telling me based off of, look, this is how you see things, and you just don't want that to be my story. Now, some children, they're not like that. But another piece that I think plays a part in it is like you knowing your child. Because let me tell you, I was a late bloomer. I didn't know about all this stuff till a late age. I'm not gonna say it, but
I need to start talking to y'all folks because y'all good. Y'all straight.
but I think growing up in the church, it probably had a lot to play a part because most of my friends and the individuals who I was around, we were all like raised the same. So it's not like they were out doing something and then I was around them doing something. We were all raised the same, so we all found out at the same time. Yeah.
So do you feel not being raised in the church, but church, especially with a topic of this nature, it played a major piece for y'all? Not like even with having like hearing you talk about, if certain friends are doing this, I'm like, no, heck no, I'll wait on y'all. Y'all do y'all thing. Matter of fact, if y'all drinking, I'll be the driver, whatever. But even with you saying what you just said, being in the church, it helped prepare you to, it helped, make sure your head was on. How important is that, even with a topic like this? Like, how important is that, do you think, Jakai? Like, because I know you be dropping some bombs. How important do you think that is, even with this?
That's important, but at the end of the day, kids are gonna still be kids. So like, if I have a friend that wasn't raised in the church and stuff, but I was raised in the church and I was raised with good morals and stuff, if they find out something, and it's gonna come to me, or I'm gonna find out about it. So with the church playing a big part in my life, towards that conversation, I believe, like Liana said, I was a late bloomer too. Like, I didn't start finding out stuff till lately.
Right.
I think that plays a big part, not only in the talk, but the actions that come after the talk.
Man. Well, all right now. Well, all right. Y'all answered that real good. Jada had me nervous initially, but she showed up. She showed up on it. Like, I really appreciate that, because I honestly, as a dad, like I said earlier, my son came, I already knew the conversation. Daughter came, I ain't even thought about the conversation. I don't even want to have it. But just with the poll that these dads have said, it's just as important for us to have that talk with our daughters versus leaving it up to mom. But even what y'all just said from a church standpoint, a Christian standpoint, making sure that that's a part of the process from raising you up to where you are now. That's vital too, and I understand that from a foundation standpoint with our kids. I know we've had discussions like that from a ministry standpoint. Even for y'all that are getting ready to graduate and go off, remembering that foundation, how you were raised up, remembering those principles, those standards, and stuff like that, even from a spiritual standpoint. So the dads wanted to know, and they said they were scared about me opening this up, but I feel like I should. Is there anything from a daughter to a dad, question wise, y'all may have for us, or anything you've ever wanted to know from a daughter to a dad? Because all these questions that I've got, dads they was typing away. And another thing, ask them this. And another thing, ask them this. But is there anything that you all have any questions from from a daughter to a dad, or a young Black woman to a Black male, that I can answer to the best of my abilities. If you do, let's rock. If not, I'm going to end it off with you guys giving advice to all the young ladies out there, uh, on that Black girl magic, just how important it is for them to themselves and so forth and so on. So I want to open it up to y'all initially, just questions from a daughter to a dad. I know Jada ready to get in there and cook them those. Uh, uh, but just wanted to be able to open it up because they did ask. It was like, man, if there's any questions, that they may have, you to the answers in to them, and even let you answer them. So I want to open it up to y'all.
Why are you all a different way with your sons than your daughters? Where did that start? Where did that come from? Why?
Okay, because y'all are the reason why they act like this. Y'all are raising.
Wait, hold on, no, this was the attack mode. No, I feel you.
I'm just saying though, y'all raise your son this way, and then you want your daughter to find someone better. But how can you find someone better if you're raising them all to be trash? You know what I'm saying?
Woo. Okay. To answer the first part, the relationship between a mother and a father and daughter are equal, and they're different from a father to son and a mother to daughter. Like, I think everybody gets the gist of that. Like, I think as a parent, when my daughter came, you initially think about all the wrong that you've done towards females, right? And I'm not talking about like I was just out here slapping females and nothing like that, but you think about like all the way back to like the childish stuff, middle school, high school, where all the stuff that you learned, the peer pressures, the foolishness that certain influences told you, this is how you treat women, this is how you do. I know I've talked before where I've had influences say, you have a main girlfriend, but you have 2, 3 on the side, and she start acting up. Like it, I think a lot of that comes back almost to haunt you in a sense, because now I remember dating a girl, and when I asked her, I said, well, if we start talking, what do you expect? And she was like, I want you to treat me like you would treat your daughter. And at the time I ain't had no daughter, so it was make the connection. But then she went in to say, how you treat your mom and how you treat the women that you love. And I made the connection then, but even now, I think it's just more of, you think about all the stuff that you've done, the mistakes that you've made. Like Jada had mentioned, we want to make sure that we don't introduce you to the fools we were. And so we will always, for any of our kids, we want the best for you from the time you're born. And I'm speaking, I know I could, working where I've worked at, I hope that this is the mentality of all parents, even though I've worked with students in group homes and drug centers and all that, the outlier stuff. But we want the best for you in every aspect of your life. And as parents, we know we can raise you, but we can't do it for you. So we raise you to the best of our ability with making mistakes and all of that. And at the same time, it's just, it's like trial and error. So me raising my daughter, it took me through the fool I was, so that I don't so that I raise her up so that she knows about that and can identify that, so that hopefully she finds the better. And at the same time with my son, I've tried to take the untraditional approach where, like, I love my uncles, I love some of the male influences I've had over my life, but now that I'm grown, I understand a lot of the words of wisdom they gave me was crap. And it's no disrespect to them. It depends on where they were in their life at that time too, and even some of their experiences that they've gone through. So I've had great male influences who have told me, make sure you raise your son to be X, Y, and Z, versus trying to recreate another fool or recreate another negative image. And so, I know that the way Jada was getting ready to light me up, uh, I don't think it's all fathers. I don't think it's all mothers. I think when it comes to students, when it comes to kids, teenagers, heck, adults now, it's recognizing who the strongest influence is in their life. And as a parent, making sure that I'm in the top three. Uh, because if I'm not in the top three, then I don't care if I'm your mom or your dad, whoever your strongest influence is, that's who you're going to learn from. And so, as a father, even getting the advice and hearing y'all, just it really has caused me to reset mentally when it comes to raising my kids. I know I'm protective. I know I'm going to uh, provide and all of that stuff. But at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm one of the top three influences, to where you can come to me about, and like y'all said, you can trust me. We've got that relationship, that bond, to where my influence with you is strong enough, to where you just, the way that I raise you, it's like a partnership. So I hope that answered y'all question. Y'all got any more questions? We about to run out of time, but I like that. That made me get in my feelings and everything. If you don't have any more questions, that was really good. You got any more questions? Let me say, you got any more? You got one besides male bashing me? I made mistakes when I was a kid, Jada. I'm sorry. You good? Jakai, you good? All right, so let's end the show like this. Ladies, I want you to give some inspiration to all the young African American girls out there who, for me, I'm gonna look in this camera and let you know these young ladies have been absolutely amazing. Um, I know that they've conquered a lot of things. I know that they've battled a lot of things, but they're here. They've persevered. They've got their head on straight. They got their dreams, goals down to it. They plan life out. And even if they have ever fallen, I cast and tell you that they've gotten back up, dusted themselves off, and continued. So um, I would love for you guys to give advice to any young ladies out there around that Black girl magic theme, and we're gonna end it like that. Let me start with you, Jakai.
I tell myself all the time, be bold, brave, and beautiful. So I'm telling any Black girl out there to be bold, brave, and beautiful. Keep being bold, brave, and beautiful.
I love it. All right, Liana, what you got? I'm saving Jada. I'm so scared, y'all. I'm so scared of what she gonna say. No, but I know it's gonna be good. I just love that about your personality, Jada. You just, if it come out, and anybody got anything to say, you come see me. No, just tease. Go ahead, Liana. What you got for the ladies out there?
To all my sophisticated, beautiful, and wonderful Black queens out there, you are exceptional, you are amazing, and just keep being you, because you are going to change the world.
Oh, Jada, bring us home.
Okay, to all my Black queens out there, never be afraid to be a queen. Okay, you were born to be a queen for a reason, so embrace and be unapologetic about yourself. Okay, yeah.
Y'all see how she tried to clean it up? She was ready to fire away. I love it. Hey, man, thank y'all ladies for being on. Thank y'all for 3-part. It's just been absolutely amazing, man. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And just expecting nothing but great things for you all futuristically. My lady's going to college. Jakai, we gonna beast this year. Got some time with you. So we finna really get to it. But thank y'all so much for joining. Y'all been watching No Cap, You Chat, 3:30. Black Girl Magic. I hope y'all took notes. We out this thing. Peace.